plaintiff, Esther Elliott, claims the defendant is her niece, and she's nothing but a backstabber who takes advantage of the elderly. Esther's suing because she claims the defendant stole $200 from her. Defendant Michelle Heinz says in the past 10 to 15 years, Esther has become so addicted to meth that she was cooking it in her home. Michelle claims she filed a protective order against Esther because she was threatening her, and she's countersuing for harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
This is a most conniving, backstabbing, bovine excrement talking girl you will ever meet in your life.
I learned from you.
You wished. She does nothing but take advantage of the handicapped and the elderly people. She tells them that she will give them something good, and the only thing she does is takes their money and run. She deceived my parents. She took my mother's bank account and emptied it out.
How long ago was that?
Oh, this was in about 2013 or so. Her daughter has autism, and she gets SSI every month. That's over a $700 check. And that little girl doesn't see any of it. Her mother takes that money and spends it all on herself, Your Honor.
Don't they have a roof over their head, the child?
Barely.
And doesn't she have to buy food, and is the child eating?
They had 11 people in their trailer with somebody else and their food stamps buying. And 13 dogs.
Wrong again. Have you been in my house recently?
Right. You must be a mansion.
I lived in her house for 3 months. I moved out. I couldn't handle it.
You lived with me for 30 days while your husband had a PFA order against you.
13 people.
No, 11 people, 13 dogs. Yes.
So somebody had 2.
She had 4, if not more.
13 dogs.
How do you know what dogs I have?
Because I've been to your house. Please don't talk to me.
Unannounced.
Please, just please don't talk to me.
Why don't you give me a little background?
So, as she said, she's my aunt. Her parents raised me. The parents that I call mom and dad, they fit the category quite fine. For 29 years, well, actually wasn't quite 29 years, but I had looked up to this woman. She was a strong, independent woman for years until I found out the drugs had taken over her life. In the last 10 to 15 years, she became such a meth head that she was cooking it in her home, her and her husband were, to the point where they evicted me and my daughter out of their home in July of 2014 so they could continue to cook because that was more important. To the point where
what it is because you do it too?
To the point where she asked me to go to Walmart and buy Sudafed and batteries because they had reached their limit.
Oh, that's such a lie.
Now, what is the battery part?
Such a lie.
I have no idea, Your Honor. I just know that I was asked to get those 2 things because they'd reached their limit.
In terms of purchasing them?
Yes.
The store won't let you purchase any...
Over a certain limit, I guess.
Even the batteries?
Correct.
All right. So you can buy AR-15, 9mm, or you can buy 357. You can buy 45. You can buy a Glock. All of that, but you can't buy batteries.
Right.
Got it. All right. And you have a mansion, maybe?
The most I ever had in my home, Your Honor, was 8 people, and it was because a young lady had been beat by her old man. And
I know you don't ever know what the truth is, but it just would be nice if you could tell it.
Are you done?
It would be nice
Are
if
you
you
done?
Tell it. I could sit here and probably name the 13 people that were in your house. Or 11.
Please.
It'd be something if she could name the dogs, too.
Right.
I almost can. I almost can. I seriously almost can.
Please.
Just curious,
I'd love
ma'am,
to
how
hear
many
it.
bedrooms do you have?
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her 2 children, which were both under the age of 2 years old at the time, lived in my home for
That's not
about 3
unreasonable. 8
weeks.
people in a 3-bedroom. Not really. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, I know.
People live like
And
that
the
all
most
the time.
dogs I've had was
I'm
7.
trying to remember. I may have at some point.
Right.
Or my family may have lived with another family in the early days with my mom and 3 brothers, 5 of us. So I know we did when I was a toddler, I'm told. And I remember crawling around, but I am told that we lived with another family for a year or 2, and then another family. My mother moved from Tallahassee, Florida with 3 boys to live with her sister in Detroit, where everybody was moving up north. Well, her sister got married 1 year after she got there. And then I came along that same year, and so she was there with 4 boys and poor and had to get any help she could. And part of it was living with other families. I think the families were from church.
Your Honor,
we lived with other church families. Be quiet. making this woman, making her out to be so bad.
She wrote
And
my
she has
in-laws
people,
a
she's sharing her
letter
place
wanting
with the helper. Like they helped
$100,000.
me and my mama. Thank you for what you've been doing. On behalf of my family. I feel for that. I respect that. And you over here smoking meth. Who you help? Who you move in? Go ahead.
She is such a liar. She wrote my in-laws a letter, my mother and father-in-law. She thinks that my husband's brother is her father.
Who brought that idea up?
You did.
Not hardly.
But she wrote, this is how conniving and deceitful she is. She wrote my in-laws a letter wanting $100,000 and that she would never bother my
She
brother-in-law.
asked your in-laws for $100,000.
Yeah, to leave their family alone. To leave my husband's family
We
alone.
have even more in common. That sounds like something I'd do back in the day. Go ahead, what else?
I have letters here from my father, my husband, and my son that will tell you what type of person she is. Also, she tried to get a protection from stalking order, and this is before we
Protection
left Kansas.
from you?
Yeah, and it got denied. If you would like to see a copy
Why
of
did
that.
why did she need protection from you? Let me hear from you about the protection order. Then we have to get to this $200 you allege she stole. What's up with this?
She would come by my house unannounced and threaten me, make threats about bringing a motorcycle club to my house, about calling DCF on me, calling animal control, bringing the police department. She'd call my parents home talking about, tell Michelle to pay or I'm going to and she's going to pay this way or another, and I'm going to make sure people see how black of a name she has and whatnot. So yes, I went down and had a protection from harassment order filed. The original court
My
date
father
for
was at that case testifying on my behalf, not
Your
hers.
father
You all
never
in
even took the
Leavenworth?
stand.
You'd have been in Leavenworth
Yes.
Penitentiary?
No, not penitentiary. I've never been in jail.
I shake
Never
reading
been in
this.
jail?
Leavenworth.
Not for a period of
Well,
time.
Leavenworth, we grew up thinking that was the worst prison in the world. Let
My
me see
husband,
what you have.
this is a letter from my father.
Okay.
This is a letter from my husband and from my son.
The same one that drug you across the floor when you were 6 months pregnant? Or the one that got you hooked on meth? Oh, wait, same person.
You're one to talk. You're just a thief running around,
Easy to get
leaving veterans stranded in the street in
What
Phoenix,
veteran?
Arizona, just so
to
you
the
could
job.
empty out their bank account
What
and
veteran
make
did I do
yourself
this to?
happy.
What veteran did I do this to? Considering you
Mathis.
benefited from his bank account. Well, you
Oh, I've
benefited-
never benefited off his bank
$400
account.
in
You are the
groceries and
best
$300
liar I
on
have
your
ever
electric
met.
bill.
You are the best liar I've ever met.
$400 in groceries and $300
What is she
on your
doing with
electric
all
bill.
this money she's stealing?
Hell if I know.
Your Honor, the man has been dead.
But I don't
talks
even
about-
get mad because I
She
know what I'm
talks-
dealing with.
She's in these different businesses that she buys all these candles and weird scents and potpourri lamps and all this weird stuff.
Well,
And
you
it
better
turns
leave her
around-
alone then.
and it
That
turns
sounds
out
like
he gives it
voodoo
away
to
for
me.
free.
Sounds like voodoo to me. Tell me about this $200 you're suing her for.
I gave her $200 to fix a van
When?
in July, around July 11th,
19th or 20th.
2018. And she had been telling me every week that she was getting this van fixed. So I would be calling her and texting her every week, only regarding this van. Is it fixed? Oh yeah, we're supposed to go get it Friday.
When was the last time you spoke with her about it?
The last time I had spoke with her was in the middle of September.
What was the excuse?
She told me she would give me back my money October 1st, but
All
October
right.
1st was the date that we were supposed
And
to go
you
to
haven't
court
gotten it,
over
obviously.
the protection from stalking order that got denied.
It didn't get denied.
But however, Your Honor, I have pictures here that I took up October
Let's see
29th.
it, please.
The van window still busted out with vines growing all over this window.
All right, but she had nothing to do with the breaking of the window, so you're
No.
just showing me to say,
What she was
is it
supposed
still?
to do, she had told my parents that she was going to give them this minivan if the window got fixed. So I helped pay for the window to get fixed.
Okay.
The
Ma'am?
minivan's still sitting there.
Got it.
My
not
parents
fixed.
don't have a
What do you
vehicle.
want to say? $200 she says she gave you to fix the van. It's not fixed.
Okay, so she called me and said, I will give you $200 towards the $400 of getting the van fixed on the condition that I get Mom and Dad's car. Okay, fine. I met with her at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday. She contacted me at 6 and says, why is it not fixed? I said, because it's been an hour and a half.
And now it's been months.
Well, no, it got towed and got fixed, and it was in my friend's barn. My dad was going to go with me to pick it up from my friend's house, but my dad's health started getting bad. They thought he had Lou Gehrig's disease, so he wasn't going out very much, so he figured it out. My mom can't get out. My mom's in a wheelchair. And so upon...
Your Honor, they're my parents. I would
Wait,
appreciate
ma'am.
if she said Grandma and Grandpa.
Go ahead.
And so my dad's like, you know what, let's just hold off on the van for a little while. I said, okay. So then, you know, we were holding off. My parents are going to be moving in with me in a few months. And he said, give him the van at that point. I said,
doubt
okay, no
that.
problem. And then my parents actually got into an accident on Monday, so they'll be getting the van this weekend.
Sure they will.
You still don't get a car because you wrecked your son.
I don't want a
Because you were
car.
drunk and high.
I don't want a car.
So she's out of her
And I wasn't drunk and
$200,
high.
and what do you suggest
and you're
she
just as
does?
liar as all
Well,
get out.
I actually tried to be civil with her for a little while, and this is what I got in return, to the point where
Well,
I
if you'd
have...
given her $200 back, you wouldn't have to
Thank you.
gotten this in
Thank
return.
you.
I actually called at one
That's
point
the
to
whole
give it to
point.
her, and she wasn't in town. She was out
All
camping.
right, well, she's in town today. Your counterclaim, how does she owe you $500?
Well, all the harassment, I have text messages out the wazoo where she was threatening me to bring these people. I went and got the protection order. The only reason it was dismissed was because we were coming here, and Leavenworth
See it,
County,
please.
No, that wasn't
Leavenworth
the
County
reason
Sheriff's
why it got
Department
dismissed.
was-
She was telling you she was going to send some people. Did you
Yes.
remind her that you had 13 dogs?
to the point,
That
Your
they can
Honor,
come
I
if they
told her-
want.
to the point where I
Your
had
Honor.
to call Leavenworth Police Department.
Your Honor,
to
I
ask
told
them-
her I was coming over with the police, the DCF,
I have
and
a
animal
voicemail
control.
I have a voicemail I submitted that says that she would come to my house with the police department
And
and, a few
that's who
other
it
people.
was.
I also have a transcript of it if you'd like
Let's
to see the
it,
transcript.
Please.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know why your phone is off, because you don't want to cough up either on the van or the money. But you have until today at 5 o'clock to prove your point that you are not lying to me. Otherwise, I'm going to show up with the police and a few other people.
And this was after she had thrown away.
She's in the police and the deputies.
No.
Yes, Your Honor.
This was after she had threatened
Yes.
to bring a motorcycle club to my house, to the point where Leavenworth Police Department did get involved, and she got a phone call asking her to stop with the harassment. To the point where
And
she
I
is
actually
Monday
went
morning.
down there. And
She
I
is
actually went
Monday
down
Quiet,
there.
ma'am.
She has Monday morning training videos for the police department because of the charges that she has acquired while being high or
full
intoxicated.
fledged. You know what? You're going so down because this
First
will
off,
go,
I didn't take
this will
advantage of
go
all
straight
of
to
it.
Leavenworth Police.
Sweet.
Good.
Ask them.
I've already asked them, Michelle, you're a biggest liar as all get out.
Says the woman that says that she's not an addict.
You sit up here and say
Says the
is
woman that says she's
basically
not an
a
addict.
lie.
How many times you smoked meth?
How many times have what?
How many times have you smoked meth?
Well, apparently you're tripping over your own tongue, so maybe you're
It's
the one
called an
that's doing
aneurysm, Esther. Look it
Is
up.
this something like your daughter having?
Hey, we're not going to do that. Stop
All right.
it. In fact, I'm going to grant your judgment. She has no defense. And, ma'am, this doesn't rise to the level of harassment deserving of a $500 judgment. So I'm going to dismiss your counterclaim. Good luck to you, ladies.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
I'll see you back in court, meth head.
Anything she says is a lie anyway.
I'll see her back in court. There's a reason I
what?
didn't bring up all the evidence.
For what? See me in court for what?
Your
Lie,
harassment.
lie. When is she telling the truth? Never.
Says
When
the
is
woman.
she lying? Whenever her mouth goes,
Really?
Plaintiff Jonathan Pinkney says the defendant is his sister, and they were so close that he got a tattoo dedicated to her. However, she recently filed a restraining order against him, and he's suing her today for the balance due on a cell phone, a phone bill, and property. Defendant Michelle Skimmon admits that she filed a restraining order against Jonathan, but she claims it was only after he threatened her. She's countersuing for harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, me and my sister, we've had a great relationship. We grew up together, and I left home at a young age. Our lives got back together again. We raised our children together. I've always been there for her. Turned around, I even got a tattoo that says I'm my sister's protector on me. She wanted to get a tattoo that says I'm my brother's keeper. So we've always looked out for one another.
Is this the first time you've had any significant issues?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's a little side thing. She should have been the boy and I should have been the girl. Yeah, I'm a little sensitive.
More,
she's a little hardcore. Anyway,
well, let me hear from her. Ma'am?
I agree. My brother and I have always been close, Your Honor, and I've always supported him through everything. But just recently, I looked for support back from him, which I did not receive.
In what way?
Well, I was incarcerated. While I was incarcerated,
How long?
13 months. While I was incarcerated, I looked for my brother to help support me and be there for me.
In what way?
Just be there, just emotionally.
He couldn't be there with you in jail. They don't let you.
No, just somebody to call.
Somebody to talk to?
Yes.
All right, were you calling him, Colette?
Yes.
And he wouldn't take him?
He was, but once I was released from jail, coming home, I was looking for that same support. Well, my brother filed my taxes while I was incarcerated.
That's support for sure.
Well, I took the right procedures. I've contacted the IRS to get my money returned back from me that he collected.
Okay, he stole your money?
Yes.
Okay, how much of your money did he steal?
Well, the tax return was for approximately $2,000.
And he took it all?
Yes.
And spent it on himself?
I believe.
Okay, or he didn't give it to you?
Correct.
Or spend it on you. And you did what afterwards?
Well, I
with
did
the
file,
IRS, you say?
I did file identity theft with the IRS.
Okay. She says you stole her money. Let's get to that. What happened there?
That's not true. I got her taxes done for her.
On her request?
On her request, while she was incarcerated. She had to sign the tax forms and send them in. Then tax forms came back to my...
Did she sign them?
Yes, they came back to my house.
She said she didn't, but go ahead.
The tax check came to my house.
In whose name?
In her name. I had to sit there and deposit it into my account. That money was used to sit there and take care of her.
How were you able to deposit it into your account with her name on it?
I had permission from her
to sign
that check when it came to me. And I put that money into my account. That money that went into the account...
You embezzled it?
No.
Didn't
Sorry, sir. That money...
That's what she's saying. Go ahead.
That money, I gave her commissary. I bought her things while she was in prison there. I went and visited her. That money was used. I had kept all the receipts.
There you go.
I kept all the receipts. When she came out, I gave her all those receipts.
Okay.
And...
Did she make an issue of it?
There was an issue with it. There was a few $100s that I turned around and that I had borrowed out of that money. And I did tell her that I borrowed this money. I did turn around after she was out of jail when she needed money and I was helping her out.
You weren't helping her out, you were paying her back.
No.
I was paying her that back, but I also was helping her with other things.
Like what?
When she got out, I was moving out of my apartment. She took over my apartment. I left it fully loaded. Stove, refrigerator, washer, dryer, everything you could, bedroom set, all that was there for her. I was moving in with a girlfriend, so I was leaving these things.
Got it.
I also had personal belongings that I had stored in a side room. I did return that money that I had borrowed back to her.
All right, so you say that you did not authorize him to sign the check. Now, did he pay any or all of the money that you believe was misused or used by him without your permission?
No, he didn't return any money to me.
Any. All right, that's not what we're here for. We hear about the cell phone bills, and property. Perhaps that property is part of what you're discussing. So how does she owe you for those things? Tell me what happened.
When she took over my apartment.
What month and year was that?
That was December 1st, 2017.
All right.
At that same time, I had a cell phone. She needed a cell phone. She wanted to go on to my family plan. The agreement was she was going to split half of that bill with me, and that she was also going to pay for the phone. She was paying me $20 a month for that and $80 towards the phone bill a month. So everything was fine up until May. Started getting the bills, and I'm texting her and I'm saying, Michelle, I need to pay for the bill. When can I get the money? I was constantly getting a runaround. It started getting into July now, and I still haven't got the money.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you say about the phones?
I paid him every month, and as far as the agreement that we had, the verbal agreement, I was supposed to pay him $80 a month for the phone. That was it. His son had the phone before me. So the money for the amount of to buy the phone, his
That was
son,
only $20 a month, so you're saying you paid $80 every single month that you had it?
That's what I was under the impression of. That's what I was paying.
And you paid him that?
$80 a month, yes.
Okay, she did?
She paid that up until May. $80 was half the bill.
Did you stop in May?
No, I did not. I have in July.
You're still
I'm
paying?
on my way with my money.
Are you still paying?
No, right now, no, I'm not. I don't have the phone. I have a new phone. I have a total new service, everything.
And you don't think you were liable for the actual phone? Did he tell you you were? Did you all agree to that?
Not that I know of. Not that I'm aware of. I was aware of an $80 bill.
Do you have anything indicating what you've paid?
I will show you the texts that I have. Not sure if it's...
Well, tell me what they say. I don't know.
It just says, you know, like I told him, I'm not ignoring you. You know, I can bring it over when I get home.
Okay, how many pages is that? Just
There's two, but the other one is pertaining to something.
All right, this is Lane. If I want the phone and my stuff from the house, turning off the phone tomorrow. Sorry, this is July 11. Don't get ghetto. I promise you, I will crave this tattoo off me. Carve this tattoo, it said crave. Carve this tattoo off me. I give no... Her response to him was take me to court. Is this why you wanted me to see this? Where he asked for what was owed to him, and instead of you debating it or saying, I don't owe you, or saying, what are you talking about? Instead of you saying any of that or things you're telling me today, you say, take me to court. Give you nothing. I don't care what I say.
I also have our...
Take me to court. You want it?
I also have a read of all our text messages during that time of me trying to obtain...
Stole my money, I'm still yours. Ma'am, how do you explain all this after having told me that you paid every dime owed?
All I could say is a lot of these texts, we had the money for him, waiting, trying to make...
Oh, you said you paid it all.
I did. The texts are saying, you know, I want the money, and if you can, some of the texts you'll see in there, I said...
I'm looked at the one you gave me, man.
I'm not trying to ignore him.
You said take me to court, meaning that you haven't paid him.
But I did pay him, and it says
why
I'm
would you
on
say
my way.
take me to court?
If you read right under that text, it says, I have the money, I'm on my way. My daughter told me you stopped by.
So why did you tell him to take you to court?
For his property and everything that he's harassing me. He was harassing me, not just in the texts.
So why wouldn't you just give it to him?
He left notes on my door.
Why wouldn't you just give him his things?
I did.
No, you said take me to court.
Even though
that's saying I'm not addressing your issue. I'm not paying you a dime. Whatever you're requesting of me, I'm not doing it. If you want it, sue me. That's what you said.
I left all of his stuff on the
I got you,
floor.
ma'am. I got you. All right, sir. What unreturned property are you suing her for?
When I left the apartment for her, she allowed me to leave a dresser, some kitchen things, speakers.
How long did you all agree that you would leave it?
There was no agreement. We're brother and sister. There was no...
And when was that again?
I moved out of that apartment in December.
Okay, right.
And
of 17.
She filed a restraining order against me in July when I shut off the phone. And she told me to take her to court.
But prior to July, I mean, this is December. What was the discussion regarding storing your property?
There was no rush because it was wintertime.
She had never told you to come and get it prior to July?
No, sir. No.
What is your understanding of what happened to your items?
I have no idea because I had a restraining order to stay away from the house. She
And what
said
was that about?
Because I tried to get the phone, and because of those text messages, I went over to the house. She lives right around the corner from where
Who
I'm.
has the restraining order?
She has it against me. I have.
see it. No, has a copy of it. That's what I'm asking. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me about the restraining order and his property?
As far as the restraining order goes, he harassed me, left notes on my door saying he wanted to fight. He
Do you
called
have
my...
any of those notes?
I have, I believe, the copy of the text messages where he threatened to contact
Let me
my
give you what you
parole
gave
officer.
me. Let me give you what. Oh, contact your parole officer?
Contact my parole
What's
officer.
wrong with that?
He contacted my parole officer.
did.
Why?
Right.
I don't know, but he told my parole officer, oh, I'll sit outside the office and wait for her.
Okay.
Okay, my parole officer is the one that advised me to get the order of protection.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I have children. I have a granddaughter. You know, I'm putting...
She has children. They
I
don't
felt
live
I
with her,
was-
though.
That's besides the point.
No,
But the
it's
thing-
not. That is the
Besides the
very
point.
point. You
No,
use them
my
to try
children
and,
are
no,
there.
ma'am. You use them to try and give credibility to your statement that you were in fear. You said, I have children to worry about, suggesting that they stayed there and him doing these things put them in fear when in fact they don't stay with you at all. So that is
They're
the
there.
very point. You're talking about
They're
that's
there.
beside the point.
They're there. My children are at my house. I mean, he's driven by with me and my daughter sitting on the porch.
Ma'am, I don't believe you.
Okay.
So
Fair.
the property, you tell me about that, ma'am?
As far as the property in the apartment goes, my brother and I made a verbal agreement. While I was incarcerated, he took my vehicle, put my vehicle on the road, forged the name, put it on the road, and was driving around.
He forged your name again?
Again.
Boy, you're a slick guy. I got
It's
some
not
folks
looking-
need to
it-
hang out with you.
it doesn't look good,
They
Your
keep
Honor, I'm
getting caught
sorry.
and you getting away.
It may not look good, Your Honor. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, ma'am.
Well, the agreement was he was going to leave me the furniture in the apartment,
Okay.
and I would not go after him for the vehicle.
Okay.
I said, fine, I agreed to that. As far as a few boxes and personal items that were left in the spare bedroom, they were left there. I wasn't too worried about it when he wanted to come get them. He had ample enough time
Okay.
to come and retrieve any of that. And then once the harassment started, he started leaving notes on my door and started being...
About what?
Just being belligerent
About what?
About a lot of things, about me asking him for my tax money. He wanted to yell and scream at me because he was drunk and said he didn't owe me any tax money. I said, I'm out. Here I am struggling to pay you a phone bill, but you can't give me my money that you actually owe me.
It's not true, Michelle.
Why
I
am I
told you
even
I owed
paying
you
you?
a few $100.
You never
after the
paid me.
taxes.
You never
I did
paid
pay
me.
you.
And when I got out, you never did anything for me. You didn't buy me
What
a
are you
pack of cigarettes. You didn't give me any money.
I did everything
So where you're
for
coming
you.
off
Where are you
saying-
living now? what do
Listen,
you got to sit
that
on?
apartment
What
has
washes
nothing to
your
do with
He
you.
got
clothes?
You're
your
not the
cell
landlord.
phone.
What,
Ma'am?
what
We're not
Ma'am?
the landlord.
Ma'am, he got your cell phone. So he did a little something for you. He gave you the means of communicating with the outside world other than having to walk to the outside world to communicate with everybody. Because you didn't have a car. You had a car. He had taken that. When you going to jail, all this, you need to go to jail.
Right after
He
this.
told
Probably
me.
when I walk
That
out
after
of here,
this
I
case,
get
I'll have him marched out of here, ma'am.
He
'cause this
spent
is
my food
it's just
stamps.
too much. You stole the stamps too?
Yeah, $1,500 in
Apparently.
food stamps.
So the property, what did you do with the property?
When he wanted his stuff, I put all the property on the porch. I put his phone, boxes, suitcases, speakers. I put everything on the porch. It sat on my porch for a month.
I wasn't allowed to go over there. I had a restraining order. It
this was
said to stay
before-
away. I couldn't have
When
no
was it,
contact
ma'am?
with her.
When was it?
This was in July that I put the stuff on the porch when he was asking me for it.
Did you give him any notice that you were going to put his things out?
I did through a third party.
Okay. And do you know that that message was delivered through the third party?
I do know it was.
Who was the third party, and does he know the third party?
A friend of ours, a mutual friend, Jeff.
When did you tell Jeff that?
I told Jeff that like the beginning of July. I let
And
Jeff
then you
know.
set his things out when?
When I talked to the DA said he's telling them about stuff, and that's when I put it out. Was like
When?
Like the first, second week of July.
Okay. And as such, you did not give him proper notice. Even though you say you gave it through a third party, you have to give notice. You say you got 2 weeks, 30 days, or whatever the case is. If he does not come and get him within that 2 weeks, 30 days, within the notice you've given him, then you're able to call him and say, they're going out, and then you put them out. or if he doesn't respond to you at all, then that's called abandoning his property. And that's way beyond just a 2-week notice. Abandoning it would be several months. Abandonment is when you indicate by your actions or lack thereof that you're not coming to get them at all. And that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing all these texts regarding property. He asked for his property, and instead you go and get a restraining order. What has he done to harass you?
For harassing me, leaving harassing notes on my door, calling my parole officer.
You should have called your parole officer. Have a good day. Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I kind of wish it never came to this. I love my sister very much, still do. We all have our own trials and tribulations in life. It's just choosing to do the right things at the appropriate time. And like I taught my son, say what you mean and mean what you say.
Plaintiff Rashonda Booker says her husband has 4 children with the defendant. But after he and Rashonda got married, the defendant started calling CPS on them. Rashonda claims she filed a restraining order against the defendant, and she's suing her for defamation. Defendant Shantice Green says she left Rashonda's husband because he was physically and mentally abusive. And Rashonda is the one who called CPS on her and her family 12 times. She's countersuing for emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Good afternoon, Judge. My husband and Shantice used to date. They have 4 children together. I introduced myself to Shantice because I knew the kids would be around me. March of 2016, Shantice started sending me communications on Facebook. When it was time to pick up the kids from the police station, she tried to sideswipe me in my new vehicle.
Okay. Why were the kids at the police station?
Because as far as parenting time, they didn't agree to where they had to meet to drop off the boys.
So it became the police station.
Yes,
was
correct.
the location.
Correct.
Okay, that was a mutual meeting
Yes.
site. Got it. All right. And so what happened at the police station this time you're referring to?
Shantice tried to sideswipe my vehicle, and I had my minor daughter.
Why do you think that was?
Because she was upset.
About what?
Because I was with me and my husband was together.
Okay.
So I did make a police report. It went back. The thing was, she was stopping my husband from seeing his boys because of me. So
Who told you that?
she stated in court. It's been plenty of times that it's been said in
She
court.
stated in court.
Yes. So I ended up getting a protection order against Shantice. She was found in violation of the protection order because she was still sending me communications. She sent her sister to try to fight me, and I do have the protection order if you would like to see that as well.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Detroit 36th District Court,
Yes.
where I sat as a judge. All right.
She was fined in regards to the violation. Then she started. It just became Child Protective Service came in the
How
picture.
did they get involved?
Because Shantice contacted Child Protective Service on numerous occasions,
Saying what?
saying that my minor daughter had sexually assaulted my stepson.
His son that was living with her.
Yes,
Okay. And that was what, Mom?
that was
I
March
see in
of
16, that's when the protective order was
March of
violated.
2017. That was the first time she called Child Protective Service, March of 2017.
1 year later.
Yes.
And what happened from there?
CPS came out, they did their investigation, and also where I reside, the police came out as well to do investigation. The police had closed the case because there was no evidence found. The judge had explained that there was no evidence. So every time he would beat a case in regards to getting his parenting time back, she will come with another, you won't see him. She wouldn't show up at the police station, Your Honor. She wouldn't communicate with us as far as them not coming. She's been attempted to court.
How many you have?
Oh my goodness.
One?
No, it's over.
More than
it's
one?
over 10 times.
For withholding visitation?
Yes, yes.
Let me
She's
see.
also
I'm
been
gonna
fined.
Let me take a quick
She's also been fined with the contempt of court. Not once. We have another one coming up for her being in contempt of court as well.
Well, let me stop there before we go any further, because it seems like you might be tuning up for some more stuff. Something else happened?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Something else happened?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, let me hear from you.
Okay, when I met Rashonda, I guess she still thinks that I want her husband. I don't. The reason why I stopped talking to him, because he was mentally and physically and emotionally abusive. He would put pictures, nudity pictures of me up on Facebook, sent it to my mom, my dad, my sister, who was a minor at the time when he sent it to her.
I hope you called the police when he did that.
Yes, we made a police report. Then he created a date sign saying that I would perform sexual act for money. When I met with her, I told her I thank her, I appreciate her. I gave her a hug. I told her congratulations, and I wished her and him nothing but the best, because I was hoping that at the time, since they got together, with him threatening me and my kids about killing us would stop, the phone calls would stop, all the drama would stop, but it was like it just kept continuing. Turned around, Child Protective Service. I had, between me and my family, of her calling Child Protective Service, it's been 12 times.
Okay, you've jumped ahead of a lot of things that
I'm real
important
nervous.
that she alleged, and her allegations were regarding a protection order that the court says you violated. Then we're also talking about the 10 contempts of court. That's what I'm talking about, not this gossip.
Okay,
All right.
The PPO that she put out on me, she never did serve it to me. And at the time, I was working and I was out of town. I was in Ohio, where
And you never knew of it?
I never knew of it.
Never appeared in court?
I appeared in court.
Well, then you knew of it. Move
No,
on.
I didn't. No, I didn't
How do
know.
you appear and not know? Tell me about these contempts.
The contempt
Yeah.
happened because her daughter was touching on my son.
No, she said I have contempt for withholding visitation. Is this what this is?
Yes.
Is that what this is for, withholding
Yes,
visitation?
and that's why we hold my children, because my son came to me.
At what month and year did he come to you?
He came to me of March the 26th when he came back.
Of what year?
It was 2017.
Okay, these contempts started in 2015. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 times before we even got to the year 17.
That
How
is
do you
not what-
explain those contempts?
I don't know where they came from.
Okay, well, they came from the
Because
court.
in
I'm reading
2000
it.
No, I'm saying when in 2015 he was getting the kids.
Ma'am,
When he started making
I'm going
his-
with, I believe the court
Okay.
over you. What did you want to tell me, ma'am, about the defamation?
I have the second case that happened in January 2018 when she called CPS again on my minor daughter again. And this time I'm having to explain to my daughter what's going on, and she's a minor. So I'm taking her innocence away from her because of this.
Let me see that. Well, and the result was the case that there was no
It was
action
closed
taken.
as well, yes.
All right. Ma'am, let me hear from you regarding the violation of the protection order and regarding the contempt liability that you were issued. Go ahead.
Okay, like I was saying, she has made many as 12, between me and my family, 12 Child Protective Service against us. Saying that the kids don't eat, the kids are getting beaten, the house is dirty, just any
12?
and everything that she can make up.
12? She filed 12 complaints?
Yes.
What was the result of the 12?
They closed all of them.
And you made 2 toward her so far.
So
And you've made 12
No.
toward on her?
No.
How many times did you report her to CPS?
the hospital, and I have their hospital records. The hospital called CPS on her because her boyfriend.
Did you
No,
ever call
no,
CPS?
No.
Do you have evidence of her calling?
It was a voice recording of her.
A what?
A voice recording.
A voice?
Recording of her husband saying, "We're calling Child Protective Service."
He was reporting you, not that she. So let's move on. What else do you want me to know other than she filed 12 reports against you? Well, maybe you have the conclusions.
Yes,
you have 12 conclusions, right?
Yes, and I have.
All right, 12 dismissals?
Yes.
Let's see. Ma'am, she said she's finna show me 12.
That's not 12 of them. Those are
give me 12, ma'am. You said you had 12.
The other ones was in my family's name, not in my name. So I couldn't get them because it has to be in my name.
She reported your family, you're saying?
Right, but
What did she say about your family? What did she say your family did?
Basically, she said that they're beating on the kids. My sister is touching on my son. My son goes to therapy now. He vented to his therapist about him getting touched on.
Mm-hmm.
I have that.
And you showed that to CPS?
Yes.
How did they respond?
They talked to the Child Protective Service lady. I mean, to the therapist lady. And basically what they told me was that since he is not giving dates, months, and years of when it's happening, he's just combining everything together.
Your child?
Yes. That it's not strong enough. They don't know, he's not disclosing enough information for them to go
take action.
Yes. When I took my son, because I had to take all the kids to the children's hospital, all the doctors talked to him, and they called and made a complaint also because...
You have their reports saying that they believed that it happened?
When I talked to Child Protective Service...
No. Do you have a doctor's report saying we believe... Do you have something from CPS then?
Yes.
That says the doctors told us?
No, she didn't
Okay, I know you don't. All right. So, your counterclaim for $3,000 is for what? How did she cause you emotional distress?
Because of what the Child Protective Service saying that where my kids was going to get washed at night for me to go to work, that ended up causing me to lose my job because they couldn't go where they was getting washed at because she accused my sister of touching my son. And then she also constantly...
Okay, so what did she get for you accusing her? Did she get her $3,000? We can break even then.
What I said was true.
Yours was false?
Not at all. But
She says hers is true. She certainly has shown me information about your activity that was detrimental and found to be liable and you were punished for. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with the defamation, however, ma'am. So give me the actual defamation. Tell me and prove it.
Okay, I feel as though the defamation is, I let everything go. I wanted to live my life. I had my baby in January 2018. That's when she called Child Protective Service. You have the paperwork where the detective put on there that she feels as though the boys was coached. It's in there.
I have that?
Yes, she just gave it to you. It's the Child Protective Service report. I believe it's on page 11. Let me see if I have it too.
Ma'am, do you have a report the same? Have you read that, or you gonna play crazy and say you haven't read that?
I have not seen that.
I told you that.
I
told you was gonna say that.
They said it to my mom when she took the kids to Children's Center that they was coached, but I didn't see it in the letter. I didn't see it in the letter.
Oh, you were told, but you didn't read it.
No, I didn't see it in the letter. When the Child Protective Service people come out, we never.
Has anybody found her liable of anything that you alleged that she did?
No, because I haven't had. When we go to court, it's me and her husband going to court for our children. Okay. It's never me and her for nothing.
They got more than one court.
We just never went.
You never petitioned it.
No, I never did.
Yes, you did go.
I was going.
You did go. You went for the protective orders. You went for 22 contempt orders.
Right. The same person who do us for
the defamation, ma'am, is the CPS investigation.
No, not just that.
What?
I let it go. She posted on Facebook a status about my daughter, and she named me as well.
My kids do not go over there with their father because your daughter loves touching on them in places. What's your defense to this, ma'am?
Yes, I did post that. And the reason that I post that was because Rashonda ended up texting a guy that I used to talk to, wife, talking about my son. And I have that proof right here.
It's texting one-on-one?
Yes.
All right. You went public, told the entire public.
I never mentioned her daughter's name at all.
You mentioned her name, and if people know she has a daughter and you mentioned her name, your counterclaim is for what again? Because we're finished with defamation.
Okay.
You're liable for that.
She has also did the same thing. She has posted pictures of my kids and talking about me.
Saying what?
She said our baby mama said our boys don't like coming over, but just can't fake these smiles no matter what. You try, these boys love us, that you have no power over us.
I'm going to conclude yours is not defamation nor emotional distress. Your claim is dismissed and yours is granted. You have a very clear case of defamation. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Our kids shouldn't be involved with doing between me what me and her go through. She's doing all this because she's bitter that my kids love my wife. My kids attend to my wife. They care about her and all that kind of stuff. So
that's all a lie. All I wanted her to do was get her daughter some help, because it doesn't help my kids at all if I'm constantly taking them to therapy to get help for what her daughter is doing. If you say you will believe it more if your son did it than your daughter, you know your daughter doing something. Just get her some help. That's all I'm saying. Get her some help.
At the end of the day, she mad, and she's still going to have her lies, but we had faith that it was going to work in our favor, and it did.
Plaintiff Juanita Johnson says the defendant is her mother, and she had 5 children, but she didn't raise any of them due to her drug addiction. Juanita claims her relationship with her mother has always been rocky, and she's suing her for an unpaid loan. Defendant Cecilia Johnson admits that through the years she would use any drug she could get her hands on. Cecilia insists she's been clean for 2 years, and she intends to stay that way because she wants to break the cycle for the sake of her grandson.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, this is my mother, of course. Love her to death. I am number 4 out of 5. My mother, however, didn't raise any of us. Me and my little sister were raised by my grandmother, which is her mother. Our relationship, kind of unstable. I mean, I really didn't see my mother much growing up.
Why?
Because of her drug addiction. So.
What years were those from?
Ever since I can remember till probably about maybe 2 years ago.
To when?
Till about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. How old are you now?
I am 33.
So for over 30 years, to your knowledge? Or 28 perhaps? Okay. Is that about right, ma'am? You're addicted to drugs for 28 years?
Or more.
Yeah. Heroin, crack, what?
Basically anything I can put in my body, but my main drug of choice would be cocaine. Yes.
Go ahead. So you didn't see much of her. Were you all in the same household or not?
No, we weren't in the same household due to the fact that my grandmother adopted us. She was not supposed to be around us due to the stipulations, but due to her being my grandmother's daughter, she did, you know.
Right.
So I did see her
in and out
coming up as a kid, but like when I did see her, it was because her and my grandmother were smoking together. So,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, it was a.
How many years of your life were you aware that your grandmother was smoking?
All the way up until I was about 12 or 13. My grandmother got clean.
All right.
Like I said, it was an unstable relationship because I never understood how if you gave all 5 of your kids up for an addiction that you had because you didn't want us around it, why would you let your last 2 live with your mother?
Is your grandmother still alive?
No, she actually passed away 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old was she?
I don't know. How old was Granny?
I don't know. 63.
63?
Yeah.
Was your mother addicted to crack?
She was actually addicted to alcohol and did drugs later.
Try to pretty it up. I want to make it sound as bad as possible.
Okay.
So that you can either stay straight or get straight. Is she straight to your knowledge? Drug free? Or you don't know?
I don't know. I feel like she could probably use some help right about now. So
is that right?
Necessarily.
I've got 2 years. I could use some more extra help, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have our staff speak to you and see how we can help.
Okay.
It's good to hear that you're willing to get even additional help. Yeah. Good. Good to know, because you look very healthy.
Thank you.
You do today. Skin glowing. You pregnant? I was just saying, your skin is glowing.
No.
Your skin is glowing. And that's one of the signs typically.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
No.
So it sounds like you don't have a whole lot of resentment for her, do you?
Not necessarily resentment, just anger. And I got
That is resentment. That's the anger comes from the resentment of her not being with you. I'm talking about from your childhood years.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a rocky adult years too. So it's like you get to a point to where you kind of like get over the anger part, and it's just now it's like, okay.
It's modern day. Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Because from kid all the way up to, like I said, about a couple of years ago,
Right.
we've had a very up and down relationship. She'll get clean and do good, and then I'll start trusting her again, and then next thing you know, my car's stolen.
How many?
So it's like a up and down type thing when it comes to her addiction.
Yep. But at least she tries, right? Does she try?
She does try. Like I said,
right.
she'll have good 2 years. Now, it's not
Good.
like most where they'll do good for 6. She'll do
Right.
2-3 years.
Yeah.
Good. And then it's just,
Do you go to your NA courses?
I've actually been involved with the conventions, and
Yeah.
I've been people's sponsors. I have.
You have served as a sponsor to a
Yes,
drug
I
addict?
have.
Okay.
I've got underlying issues as far as how I was raised. My dad was very abusive to my mom. My mom and I, we grew up together. She was 13 when she had my sister, 14, had her at 14. Then my birth certificate says she was 15. So we basically grew up together, and I watched her be
Now, you
abused.
and your mother didn't ever use together, did
We
you?
used later on.
Together?
Together.
Okay.
That's because I thought that was
What'd she
the
say,
only way.
pass the pipe and the belt at the same time?
No, I was an adult.
You were using illegal drugs.
Well, I was an adult. I thought
And
that
so
was
as
the
a
only...
mother, she had a responsibility to discipline you.
Exactly.
But then y'all was smoking the pipe at the same time, so she had to get that pipe. So she said,
we had
pass
our
the
moments.
pipe and the belt.
We had our moments, exactly. We really did. But at the time, I just felt like that was the only way her and I could bond together.
Yeah.
Was through the drugs. And it was hard.
At what age? When later in life, you're saying that's when that occurred?
Yes.
When you all were using together?
Yes, yes. Because I wanted to see my kids. And if I had some drugs, she would let me come around and see my kids. That's just the nutshell of it. And so her and our relationship got much better as when she got clean, because she got clean and stayed clean.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And she raised my daughters until they were adults.
NA classes, how often do you go?
I go every day, maybe 3 times a day. It
And
just
you've
depends.
done that, and relapse every time you relapse, you were still on that pattern when you
I've
relapse.
gotten into bad relationships. It's a lot.
You go to NA every day and still relapse.
Just because you go into a Narcotics Anonymous meeting does not mean everybody in the room is clean. And so if you get into a relationship with a man who's not clean, when we fall off together.
Based on my observation, you have to go every day, particularly those first several years.
Yes, you do.
And some, depending on your addiction level, twice a day.
Sometimes 3 times.
Sometimes 3, correct. So you tell me some things that you think we should know about your addiction that might be helpful to other people watching.
A lot of issues that you don't address due to your addiction. Watching my mom being physically abused by my dad. Having children way too young. I have a son that will be 44. So I had him at 15. So that's like young. Trying to be an adult when
you ever go for counseling? Well,
yes, I have. I actually have been
over the course of how many years?
Over the last 30 years, I've been back and forth
In and out?
in therapy. Yes.
Has it been helpful?
Yes. I can talk about it.
But you still self-medicate?
Yes, I do, but not as in-depth as I used to. I can honestly say that my level of addiction has changed. I'm willing to break the chain, break the cycle. I don't want my grandson to see his grandmother high. And I've been fortunate to have a relationship with my grandson.
How old is he?
He'll be 10 in October. He's tall as I am. And he knows me as the money grandma. If he gets a card from me, he knows there's money in it. When he sees me, he runs up and he hugs me and says, "Hi, Grandma." So that means a lot to me in my addiction. I don't want to start crying, but I strive to break that chain for that cycle not to be seen.
You seem like
saw a lot of things.
You seem like a grandmother that a young grandchild would be proud of. You seem very kind. You seem compassionate, based on what I'm hearing. And so it would be a shame if you let him down.
Exactly.
That's certainly one of your biggest motivations, I'm sure, right?
It is.
What's the loan for that you're suing her about?
The loan is for a loan that I gave her back in 2016. So during the time of 2016 was one of her clean moments. She was doing good. Like she said, she was going to conventions. She was somebody's sponsor. She was speaking at meetings. I even went to a couple of meetings that she was speaking at, stuff like that. My aunt, which helped my grandmother raise me, she passed away. She didn't have any kids, so she put me and my sister down as her beneficiaries. So I ended up getting, life insurance from when she passed away. During that time, my mom also slipped and fell in a hospital in Missouri. So she was going through the process of getting the settlement. So my mom asked me for the loan. And just to give you the reason as to why, even in her addiction, after we got on a understanding, she would borrow money from me and she would pay it back. So it wasn't like it was something like, oh, wait a minute. And then I knew that she was supposed to be getting the settlement.
I mean, after 30 years, you should know how to get high. If you got your people in rotation, you know that one day if you hit her up, you got to pay her within 6 days because you know she's in rotation. So the 7th day, you're going to need her again. So she got it organized after all those years. It's like the pyramid scheme. You have rotation. So you get money from one person, you use 80% of that on the crack. Then you take the 20% and pay it down on the person you already owe. So by the time you come back around to them, they will at least feel that you've given them some of their money back, and they'll feel like you. That she's a crack addict that pays her debts.
Yes. Well,
but like the pyramid schemes, at some point it all comes crumbling down.
Right.
And you lose all your money. So you have gone for a crack pyramid scheme.
Well, like I said, at this time though, she had a good 2.5 years. She was going to meetings, she was sponsoring meetings, she was doing that. So this was like a good 2-year stretch of her being clean. So, and then I knew that she was actually getting the money because I, had to facilitate some of or help her with some of the paperwork when it came to the lawyers. So we already knew she was going to be getting the settlement. They were just going back and forth about how much.
Okay.
So with her needing to move, because like she said, that bad relationship she was dealing with, her previous apartment, she had to move because of
all right, so that's why you loaned it to her. When was she to repay you?
I gave it to her October of 15. She was supposed to get the settlement in 16. We didn't know exactly when, but it was supposed to be no later than March of 2016.
Okay.
Then she finally told me that she got it, but she said that the bank took it because
When's the last time you all discussed repayment?
The last time we discussed repayment was in 2018 when I lived with her. I was talking to her about the money and about me having to move. By this time, I had already got
What
another
did she
car.
say?
She felt like she didn't owe me.
Why?
She felt because she was my mother.
Let me hear from you.
Okay. I tried not to get high with the money, so I put the money in the bank. I owed the bank, though. And so the bank said, oh, okay, Miss Johnson, you got a little money in here, huh? How about we freeze this? And so I did get the money, but they wouldn't let me have access to the money. And that's the honest to God truth. And so out of that, I was ashamed to tell her that. because I thought she would think that I was trying to scam her about the money and things like that. And
What were you going to say about the bank issue?
I was saying that didn't happen because her and my aunt fell out. And so when they fell out, my aunt told me everything that happened with the money. I also had that in a witness statement as well. They drove to St. Louis to go get the money in my aunt's car. Once they got it, my mom paid up their bills for a couple of months, gave my aunt $1,000, got her laptop out of pawn. I mean, they just
didn't do any of this?
yeah, we did some, yeah.
Couldn't you have repaid her that $3,000 instead of doing that?
We're paying up our back.
Yeah, you gave somebody $1,000. All the things she just mentioned. Couldn't you have paid her money?
I should have paid her money first.
And you paid her nothing. You gave money away even instead of repaying her.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to grant you judgment just because you popped off the money. Doesn't mean you no longer owe her. What you wanted to go sue the bank and go sue your sister or go sue all the other people you gave the money away to. You still owe her. Judgment for the plaintiff, $3,000. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I still love you though, Ma.
I love you too, baby.
I still love you though. I just want her to get it together, stay together, because she has a grandson that really loves her and looks up to her. So like I said, I love you. Just get it together.
I love you too, and I expect to see my grandbaby on his birthday in October.
Plaintiff Vietta Perry says the defendant is her older sister, and she's a drug addict who introduced Vietta to PCP. Vietta claims the defendant also sold crack and went to prison, and Vietta is suing her today for emotional distress. Defendant Sandra Perry insists Vietta is a liar who recently tried to stab her own son and daughter. Sandra claims Vietta has also had sex with all of her ex-boyfriends, and she's countersuing for rent and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Hi, I'm Vietta Perry. Sandra is my older sister. We're 4 years apart. Sandra has always been a thorn in my side. She has done things to hurt me.
Since what age? Since childhood or?
Childhood. 10
Starting
years
at
old.
what?
10.
Okay.
10 years old, yes.
Any different than the average sibling rivalry?
Yes.
What's different? What was more intense? How so?
Sandra had her ex-boyfriend take my virginity at 10 years old.
At what age?
10.
Okay. What about your parents? What did they do?
My mother and them was never there.
They didn't find
They
out?
never, no.
Why didn't you tell them?
I loved my sister.
Okay, and what did she
My
say
sister,
when you told her?
I was left at home with my sister all the time. My mother always worked. So she raised me. Until I was 14, I was emancipated. I divorced my parents.
But getting back to the incident, what did she say about it to you?
She was involved in it.
She helped and she committed the act?
Yeah, it was her
herself?
ex-boyfriend.
Okay. She said you helped sexually assault her when she was 10 years old.
No, that was her boyfriend, actually.
Her boyfriend? It wasn't yours?
No. The incident she's even talking about, I don't know nothing about it.
What do you want? What else you want to tell me? She says it was your boyfriend. You say it was hers. No one went to your parents about it, so I don't know what.
Right.
I didn't.
My mom would have said something.
She didn't either. Did you know what happened? Ma'am, did you know what happened by her boyfriend?
No.
Well, how do you know it was him?
I know the boy who she's talking about, and I know the name because I know
Once
that was
again,
her boyfriend.
why didn't you go to your parent about it? That makes me think you did have something to do with it. If my sister was sexually assaulted by her boyfriend and I knew it, I would go to the police if my parents weren't around first, and then the next call would be to my parents.
My mom
you
would've
did
known.
neither.
My mother, I would have told my mom. I know that
Why didn't
boyfriend.
you?
I know
Why didn't
that
you?
incident never happened.
You just
The
said
boy-
your boy. You
I
just
know
said
the
her.
name.
Quiet. You just said her boyfriend did it. How are you saying it never happened? You're the one that said
I
her
did
boyfriend did it.
I said
Let
I
me
know
move
the-
on to you, ma'am. Let me move
Your
on to you. I
Honor,
see what
okay,
this
yes,
is gonna
yes.
be.
Okay, at the age of 13, because I didn't know no
She on
better.
drugs?
Yeah.
It appears.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The way she's talking and her physical appearance
Yes.
appears that she's on drugs.
At the
All
age
right.
of
What is it?
13,
Crystal meth, crack? What is
Crack,
it? All right.
PCP,
Yeah, I get all of that
cocaine.
impression. Are you?
Oh, can we take a urine test?
Are
or
you on
something?
crack?
No.
Yes, we
Have
can.
you been on crack?
No.
Have you been on PCP?
No.
The
Have
man
you
that
ever been
raped
on
me, you was
crystal
doing
meth?
coke with.
No.
None of them.
No.
Good enough. Go ahead. I believe you have. Go ahead.
Okay, at the age of 13, guided by Sandra, I made some wrong decisions, Your Honor. I did. I got pregnant. I had my son. Sandra slept with his father while I was pregnant. He admitted to it. She still denies that too. She'll deny everything and anything just to suit her fancy. There's something wrong with her. But I love my sister, Your Honor. I'm not here to bash my sister. I'm not here for that. Up until yesterday, I wanted to rebuild our relationship. But she did something else to me yesterday that I'm so cool on her. When I leave here, I never want to see her again. From the bottom of my heart.
Unless she cleans up.
Unless she cleans up. And I don't think that's gonna happen.
Clean up?
Sometimes it's too late.
Yes. She and I believe you're a drug addict.
Okay.
And we believe you've been a drug addict for a long time. She and I believe that. Go ahead.
I have a son that's 26 years old that's addicted to PCP because of my sister.
Smoked his first square with her.
No, you're lying. You're lying.
He just
Ma'am,
said it in her face. Sunday, he just said it in her
At
face.
this point,
he
ma'am,
smoked his
I
first square with
believe
her.
most of what you're saying, so don't deal with all this and,
I
you
love
know.
my sister, Your Honor. She raised me. She raised me until I divorced my parents.
And see, so it makes sense if she's on drugs or has been on drugs. That's what happens. People
Bad
self-medicate
childhood.
from the trauma they've had in their life.
Yes.
So that's understandable, and perhaps
I don't
you've
fault her
understood
for
that.
anything that she did. I don't. I lost a son in 1996 from SIDS. That was when she introduced me to PCP. She went to prison the same year, but
For what?
Some drugs.
Both
type
of
of
us was
drug?
together.
What type of drug?
Crack.
Go ahead.
She went to prison. She was sentenced to 3 to 15 years. She served 7.5 years of her prison term and then was paroled to me. And I was okay with that. I love my sister, so I allowed her to be paroled to my home, which was a bad idea, obviously. Me and my sister had the same mother and father. My mother has never been there for either one of us. So I believe my sister is hurt, but she's going about things the wrong way. She's taking her anger out on the wrong people.
Give me some examples.
Okay, well, yesterday, Sandra tried to assault me on the porch.
Okay, did she give you a reason?
Just that I was there.
Okay, that's what you believe. Just because you were there, she assaulted you. All right. Why don't you give me some background? Because she's starting to talk crazy now.
That's a lot,
Let me get
too.
some background from you. Go ahead. What's your background?
I'm gonna take it back to when we caught my case in 1996. We were together. When I caught the case, she was in the house with me and her boyfriend. I did the 7.5 years. Now, while I was in there, she started sleeping with my mates. Everybody I had been with started sleeping with them. All the way up until today, the dude Kevin is my ex. She's sleeping with him now, but she proclaimed he raped her. She just stabbed my nephew, tried to stab him in the face, and he caught him in the hand, her son. She just tried to stab my niece, tried to stab her in her side. They called me with that. Every time she does something to one of the kids, they're calling me. There's never a time she's not high or
Is there one police
drunk.
report you have regarding all those stabbings?
My niece has them. Her daughter and her son has them. Because they go into court
Do you
right
have
now.
any evidence to
They
prove
going to
what you
court
say?
right
Because
now.
she's not going to agree that she did that. You think she's going to agree?
No.
I didn't.
Right. See? So do you have anything to prove what you're saying?
My daughter's at home
anger,
right now in my house.
And
okay, what you suing her
she's
for? The
more
2,000
anger.
is for what?
My sister has hurt me throughout my life, in my entire life. Regardless to what I do to try to mend things with my sister, she's still intent. My husband bought me a $200 radio. She just bought a van. I took my radio to my sister.
Which it didn't.
And she at the door like, oh, you must be on something. I said, Sandra, I'm only here to bring you a radio.
Because that's what she
What's wrong?
doing.
She took the radio and then told me she didn't want nothing to do with me. No
Okay.
matter my attempts to be a sister to this woman, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Because she's angry because she won't get herself together. And she stopped using drugs. Yes, look at you. You're dying. You're dying. I'm tired of pouring water on your back while you sick. I'm tired of pouring water on your back while you sick. Tell the truth.
I have Crohn's disease. That's a
lie. Show proof. We both have gastroenteritis. I've never been in a tub and had to pour water on my back. You had your stepfather pouring water on your back. You had him pouring water on your back when you was naked.
How do you
Who
know
does
this?
that?
How do you know all this hearsay?
I have text messages from my mother saying, I need you to come down here and get your sister out of my house. Who gets naked
What's
and has
the water
somebody
on
who
your
was
back
not
for?
naked?
Overdose?
No, I have Crohn's.
Did she stop drinking and using drugs?
Hold on. How does the water on your back help your Crohn's
I have
disease?
Crohn's disease,
How does
so-
that help?
You don't have Crohn's disease.
Ma'am,
You got gastroenteritis.
ma'am, that's enough. How does that help your condition?
The hot water takes the pain out of my stomach away.
Okay.
Which, and I woke up at 5 this morning, been in pain all day, haven't been able to leave the hotel or nothing, because stress and anxiety flares up my gastro, that which then turned into Crohn's disease.
Have you ever heard of Munchausen Syndrome?
No.
Munchausen Syndrome is a disease where people make themselves sick to get attention. That's what my sister has. Nobody gets naked and get in a tub and have them pour water in their back.
Yana,
You're sick.
yes.
She moved into my home. I allowed her to live in my basement. She brought bed bugs into my home. My whole family had to reroute ourselves.
So far, I've heard you say you're suing her for emotional distress because of bed bugs, and you're suing her for emotional distress because of the relationship problems you all have had. Is there anything else you're suing her for?
She's accusing me of sleeping with her ex-boyfriend. This man raped me.
All of them.
When?
In 2011.
Did you go to police?
Yeah.
Was he convicted?
He went to prison. He went to prison. After that, my daughter assaulted me, and I ended up going to jail. My kids called my sister for help. She called him to bail me out. So he ended up finding out where I lived at. And when I got outside, I came out of the jail. My daughter was there that assaulted me and him. And I asked my daughter, I said, what is he doing here? She said, Ma, he just bailed you out. Auntie called him. This is a man that
What did she
assaulted me.
do?
She wasn't even there.
Okay, you got to sue the others for what they've done to you. Your counterclaim for $2,000, how does she owe you?
Okay, I want to start off with saying by her sleeping with all of my mates, it's something that a sister don't do.
You should feel honored. That means she looks up to you so much, she admires the men
embarrassing.
that you're able to have
she
in your
just slept
life.
with my-
And when you're done with them, she gets them in
It's
her
just
life, if
embarrassing.
what you say is true.
It's just embarrassing. It is. I watched her with him. I watched her in a relationship with him.
Okay. How many men have
It was
you
one
gone with
female.
or been a part of your life that she then made a part of hers?
1 female and 4 males.
4 men and 1 female?
The
you want to
last
address
one-
that, ma'am?
Yes, sir, I do. I have evidence.
The last one, she's still
The
with him.
female that she's claiming that I slept with just recently asked me to go to a hotel.
How is she dead? Tisha is dead. Tisha
What
is
else?
dead.
That's all.
What is she talking
else?
about?
I have the evidence here.
I don't want to see it. What else? You just told me that
I've
the
never
female
slept
asked
with-
you to go to the hotel. Ma'am, you have something about rent here.
That was, I came here in 18. My grandmother had cancer, breast cancer. So I came from Arizona, came here, I paid her $350 to stay there. I was there 3 days. before me and my son had to go. She made it just unbearable to even stay there.
You left on your own?
No.
She put you out?
She put us out.
Tell me how that went.
She woke me up at 6 in the morning. She said, Sandra, look who over here. It was somebody from our past, but I didn't remember the guy. So she all happy that he over there. So I'm like, girl, and I went on to lay back down. So she come back in the living room mad because I wouldn't get up to come in there to indulge in her, I guess, see who he was. So we got into an argument, and me and my son left and walked down to the Burger King and waited on a ride.
Okay. Do you remember just telling me that she put you out? Okay, and when you just explained it, you said you left, you and your son left on your own.
We had to
This
leave.
is what
It
I'm
was just-
going to do.
he
I'm
wasn't
going to
gonna
dismiss
fight
both
with
your
her.
cases, and
He
you
wasn't
all
gonna-
go and work this out with a counselor. Y'all work it out.
I was done
Bye-bye.
with it. Thank you, sir.